Now on Coast TV News.
Van blast chaos. This scary scene in Atlanta, what the investigation revealed about this fire at the city's airport.
Maryland focus on OC as the Association of Counties conference continues. The senators who will attend this week and the big topics set for review today.
More warm and muggy weather for Delmarva today with scattered showers and thunderstorms, some with locally heavy downpours. A bit cooler and drier heading into the weekend. Forecast details coming up.
Watchdog work begins. Delaware Governor Matt Myers set to finalize the state's newest agency. We look at the role it is expected to play in government.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And it is Thursday, August 14th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
Thursday, Elisa? You know, some people call it Friday Eve.
I'm good with that. I'll agree with you on that. I don't agree that Friday is the weekend.
Well, that's our discussion for tomorrow.
I
You're getting a little spoiler alert there.
But Thursday Eve, Friday Eve,
Yeah.
It is Thursday. I'm good with that. Hard to believe it is August 14th already.
I know. Labor Day weekend. 2 weekends after this weekend.
Yeah, don't say that. That's crazy
I
to
know.
believe. But the weather yesterday, it's already feeling warmer outside like Bob promised. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Elisa and Matt. Yes, warm and very muggy conditions out there, and not as foggy this morning, not as widespread. Still looking at some thick fog around the Dover area, 1.25 miles there. But for the rest of us, things are looking good, but we're still seeing pockets of that patchy fog, so take it slow. Looking at mild and muggy conditions, 75 in Georgetown now, 74 in Milton. Ocean City, you're at 76, and the winds are pretty light right now, and we're looking at some areas of fog. Once again, hard to pick it up on the satellite picture, but we're looking at quiet conditions across Delmarva. We're seeing some storms offshore right now, and to the west, we're watching a cold front making its way through the Ohio Valley. That will be moving in later today, and that could be the trigger for some scattered showers and storms. But this morning, watching for the patchy fog. Here's Futurecast, temperatures in the 70s, mid-morning upper 70s, and we're looking at noon with temperatures into the mid-80s inland areas, a little cooler at the beaches, and then upper 80s this afternoon. Then later this afternoon, we'll be watching for those showers and storms, some of those with locally heavy downpours, so watch for that. Maybe some local flooding as well. It feels like temperatures into the mid to upper 90s away from the beaches with 80s at the coast. So another sultry day with the storms this afternoon. A little drier headed into the weekend. I'll have more on that coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Yeah, as you just saw and heard there, a van exploded outside Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport Wednesday night. Video shows it on fire in the passenger pickup area before a loud boom. Authorities say they noticed smoke coming from the van's glove compartment before it went up in flames. Atlanta Fire Rescue put out the fire quickly. No injuries were reported.
We are now taking a live look outside at Ocean City this morning. A conference continues there today that will bring top Maryland lawmakers to the coast. And happening today, Maryland is taking steps in the fight against overdoses. According to the Maryland Association of Counties, Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller will join Special Secretary Emily Keller for an overdose response training session. It's taking place at the Ocean City Convention Center at 1 o'clock. The event is a part of the Maryland Association of Counties summer conference that aims to address top issues facing the state.
And Maryland Senators Chris Van Hollen and Angela Alsobrooks are scheduled to attend the conference. That's on Friday. Look at their itineraries reveals both will speak at a fireside chat hosted by the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce and the Greater Ocean City Chamber of Commerce. According to the Senators' communications offices, the discussion will focus on boosting economic growth across the Eastern Shore. That will take place at 12:30 p.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn Oceanfront in Ocean City.
This just in, Maryland Governor Wes Moore will also arrive on the Eastern Shore today. According to his office, he's set to deliver remarks at the ribbon cutting for Tidal Health's Edward Q. Wilgus Community Clinic in Salisbury. This will take place at 1:30, and on Saturday, Moore is set to deliver the closing address for the Maryland Association of Counties Summer Conference.
We have a developing situation in Laurel as the search continues for a stabbing suspect. Laurel police say a fight was reported around 7:30 last night. This was near the Little Creek Apartments. It's the area that we're showing you right now on your screen. A man was found stabbed in the abdomen. This is in the 500 block of Center Street. He was treated for non-life-threatening injuries, and according to police, this does not appear to be a random incident. They are urging anyone with information on the alleged stabbing suspect to contact them.
Later this morning, the newest Delaware agency becomes official. Governor Matt Meyer is scheduled to sign legislation that establishes the Office of Inspector General. This agency will work to investigate and help prevent fraud and abuse of government money. Senate Bill 4 had bipartisan support in the General Assembly. That bill signing will take place at 11:30 this morning in Wilmington.
Millville is looking at more housing. Tonight, the town's Planning and Zoning Commission is set to review two separate projects. One is for the 53-unit duplex village in Millville by the Sea. Another is an 18-lot single-family home subdivision. That plan submitted by Fox Lane Homes at White's Neck LLC. The land is on White Neck's Road near the Atlantic Avenue intersection, and tonight's meeting is scheduled for 7 p.m.
Happening today in Milford, discussion on a proposed Dollar General. According to the agenda for the Board of Adjustment meeting, organizers are set to present a comprehensive plan map design for the store. Officials say organizers are asking for a decrease in the number of required parking spaces. This is being proposed at the intersection of Windward Boulevard and South Rehoboth Boulevard.
DelDOT comment period continuing as we could see changes at a Sussex County intersection. Officials say this has a history of crashes. Our Coast Copter flew over Gravel Hill and Sand Hill roads in Milton, the site of a proposed roundabout. DelDOT says the project is designed to ease congestion and reduce crashes.
We are hearing a couple concerns with the truck traffic that's along Route 30. These are very big trucks, and we do have our design to accommodate the larger trucks. We do provide a truck apron for the trucks to safely navigate through that roundabout.
And DelDOT is taking public comments until September 19th on that potential roundabout.
We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. President Trump is setting expectations for his face-to-face summit with Russian President Putin on Friday and issuing a warning. Be serious about ending the war or face consequences.
Yeah, the president discussed the sit-down after he held a virtual meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky and European leaders who say nothing can be decided without Ukraine's involvement.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us how an urgent push to end Russia's 3-year assault on Ukraine is on the line.
In the countdown to tomorrow's critical summit between President Trump and Russian President Putin, Ukraine and its allies pressing Ukrainian interests to the forefront, meeting virtually Wednesday with President Trump.
President Zelensky was on the call. I would rate it a 10, very friendly.
The Ukrainian president was not invited to the Putin meeting at a U.S. military base in Alaska, but President Trump says he anticipates a second summit, including Zelensky.
I would like to do it almost immediately.
The president of France among the European and U.S. officials confirming that President Trump is entering the meeting with the goal of securing a ceasefire. The sources also noting that President Trump said he does not plan to discuss giving up Ukrainian territory to Putin without Ukraine in the room, something President Zelensky and the European allies on the call were pushing for. And as for if Putin does not agree to end the war,
there will be very severe consequences.
Russia has increased its attacks leading up to the meeting in what Ukrainians call an attempt to strengthen the Russian hand. Zelensky saying he told President Trump that Putin is bluffing, believing he still wants to occupy all of Ukraine. President Trump has sharpened his rhetoric against Putin in recent weeks, growing increasingly frustrated as the Russian assault drags on. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
We're just getting started this morning on Coast TV News Today.
Yeah, coming up, Country Calling comes back, and we're going to tell you what big-name artists are taking the stage in Ocean City.
And one organization is trying to give children and their families a chance to enjoy a week at the beach. We'll tell you what difficult circumstances make that experience so meaningful.
But next, Milton Mentor Mission. In this week's Coastal Connections, we show how a Milton teacher is helping bridge language barriers in the classroom and inside homes. Coast TV News Today is back after this.
Trying to find success in the classroom can be a challenge for any student, but it can be doubly hard if English isn't your first language. As Matt Pensick shows us in this week's Coastal Connections, one Milton woman is helping out Spanish-speaking students and their families as well.
So these are some of the books that we use.
At first, this may look like a typical children's book, but if you get in closer, it's much more than that. It is a useful tool designed to help parents or guardians whose first language is Spanish help their children make their way in an English-speaking society.
In this program, we use bilingual literature to help the parents learn how to establish reading routines with their children at home. We read it first in Spanish, okay, so that the parents understand what the story is about. So we'd go through and read all the pages in the Spanish section.
For 10 years, Jackie Wager has worked with families that are new to the U.S. and the language challenges they face.
It can be very stressful for the families when all they want to do is make sure their children are in school and learning and doing well.
School forms that might seem simple are not so simple if you're just learning English.
There were a lot of questions they had that you and I would understand if a notice came home or an email, whatever it might be. And the parents of my students, many of them can't read the English and don't know how to support their children. And I learned about a program that offers, with bilingual literature, instruction and resources to help parents learn how to read with their children.
The adult programs are usually in the evenings. During the day, Wager is focused on elementary school students.
We have to work very closely with the classroom teachers to make sure supports are in place for those kids to get the support that they need throughout their school day.
It was at an early age the students, and by extension their families, first started working with Wager. It's a relationship that continues beyond the elementary school years.
Many of my former students have graduated, are in studying beyond high school. I run into families at the grocery store, at Chick-fil-A, at the beach. I'm very, very fortunate and excited to see them throughout the community.
And recently, one of those former students reached out to her.
One day this spring, I got a text message from a former student, and she had a selfie with her associate's degree from Del Tech, and she says, "Mrs. Wager, I did it." And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Degree secured. Isn't that an awesome picture? I'm so proud. I feel so blessed to have this kind of connection with my students and their families in our area.
Y después aquí al Georgetown para estudiar el inglés.
Working with two languages, the impact that she is making, that is hard to put a number to.
I love what I do, Matt. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. There have been tough times and tears shed, but I think that working with people who are so driven to succeed and develop their language skills is inspiring.
For Coastal Connections, I'm Matt Pensick. Time is 5:17, and we're now checking out the live scene in Ocean City in the Isle of Wight area. And Bob, we have that typical August hot weather day ahead of us that sometimes leads to some showers.
Yeah, I think we have a very good chance of seeing showers this afternoon, Matt, as we are in the dog days of summer, in the middle to almost the end of August coming up shortly. Here's a storyline. We're looking at partly sunny, hot and humid conditions today with afternoon scattered showers and storms, some with locally heavy downpours. And then Friday into the weekend turns slightly drier, seasonably warm, plenty of sunshine, and temperatures into the mid to upper 80s. But out the door this morning, we're looking at 74 in Seaford, Georgetown, and Millsboro, 76 in Ocean City, 75 in Bethany Beach. Some areas of patchy fog, but not nearly as widespread as yesterday, with dew points in the low to mid 70s. Still that tropical air out there and very light winds. Tough to see the fog on the satellite picture, but we're seeing some of that. Some low clouds as well. Some storms offshore right now. Otherwise, we're looking at a trough just back to our west, and then a cold front across western PA into the Ohio Valley. That will be the focus for some showers and thunderstorms later today, perhaps giving us some locally heavy downpours. And then it's high pressure behind this front, and that will settle in for the weekend, giving us a beautiful weekend on the way. This morning, though, it's low clouds and fog and temperatures in the 70s mid-morning, warming through the 70s as the fog lifts. And then by noon, it's getting warm to hot, mid to upper 80s inland, a little cooler at the beaches. And then we go into this afternoon. It's hot, it's muggy, and we're going to start to see showers and storms, and some of these with very heavy rain. You see the orange and red colors right along the Delaware, Maryland state line. So anywhere across the area, we could be definitely looking at some of that torrential rain. That will quiet down through the evening hours. Otherwise, it's kind of muggy overnight, and we could be looking at another round of fog as we go into Friday morning with temperatures in the 70s, but then drying out behind a front and a little lower humidity with lower 80s inland, 70s at the beaches. Beautiful weather. Maybe some more clouds into Saturday morning with 60s and 70s, and then really nice into Saturday afternoon with low 80s, a breeze off the ocean, and cooler 70s at the coast. We do have a marginal or low chance of excessive rain, but it's been so dry lately. I think the only problem we would have is maybe some local flooding in poor drainage areas. Very humid to the next couple of days, but then slightly drier into the weekend, and then a bigger drop off in the humidity next week. As we're looking at feels like temperatures this afternoon, mid to upper 90s, slightly cooler into Friday, only slightly. All right, let's talk tropics. Here's Tropical Storm Erin, 50-mile-per-hour winds moving to the west. It's getting into more of a favorable area now to develop. You can see it's starting to get some good outflow, and it's symmetrically looking good as we're looking at this becoming a hurricane as we go into Friday, and then moving north of Puerto Rico as a major hurricane. And it looks like it's tracking a little farther to the west now. You can see the spaghetti plots east of the Bahamas, and it looks like it'll be tracking off of our coast, but a little closer than yesterday. So that will kick up the waves and the rip current risk as we head into the middle to latter part of next week. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on Erin. 87 in Seaford today. Rehoboth 82 with showers and storms this afternoon. Mid to upper 80s eastern shore. Watch for those locally heavy downpours. Pocomoke City and Chincoteague around 88 degrees with the storms. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Mid 80s Friday and the weekend looking good. 83 on Saturday, 88 Sunday, and then low to mid 80s into early next week and staying dry. Congratulations to Diane Benson from Millsboro on winning a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
All right, thank you, Bob. The Believe in Tomorrow Foundation is growing its reach in Ocean City. The foundation bought a neighboring property on 65th Street. Foundation says its pediatric respite program, the largest of its kind in the nation, and the goal is to give critically ill children and their families a chance to enjoy a week at the beach.
This has been a long time coming. We've been working very hard. The community has been behind us and supported us, so it's a very joyful day for all of us. And quite honestly, Sunday, we will have our first family coming to stay, so what could be better?
Yeah, get this, Davis tells us that the first family to stay in the townhouses, they're coming this Sunday.
Up next on Coast TV News Today, Country Calling comes back. We'll tell you about the schedule of events for this year's festival. Don't go anywhere. The full schedule for Country Calling 2025 is out now. This is footage from the setup for the event in 2024. The Ocean City event will take place October 3rd through the 5th. Performers go on from 12:30 p.m. to 9:30. Carrie Underwood is the final performer on Friday. On Saturday, Jordan Davis goes on after 8 o'clock, followed by Luke Bryan. And on Sunday, it is Luke Combs.
That is a great lineup.
It is.
Since the first of this month, legal licensed stores could sell marijuana in Delaware, but now we're getting some reminders from the Department of Transportation to all drivers. It is illegal and unsafe to drive under the influence of cannabis. Driving high is your ticket to a DUI. Drive safe, drive sober, and if you plan to go out while high, please find a designated driver or Lyft service.
Delmarva cooling stations are open again today. In Maryland, Worcester County typically uses its libraries as cooling centers, and the Civic Center normally serves that purpose in Salisbury. And here are the locations offered in Sussex County by the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services. Today from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., people can head to the Adams State Service Center in Georgetown, also the State Service Centers in Bridgeville, Laurel, and Milford, along with the Shipley State Service Center in Seaford. Disappointing beach news for Matt today. Bob says those waves are going to be low.
Yes.
Not tasty.
Yes. So what I'm hearing, you stole my thunder. I had that in the prompter there.
Yeah.
No tasty waves for riding, Bob. That's what I wrote in the prompter.
Yeah, and hopefully no jellyfish, Matt. I mean, you know, no jellyfish and bigger waves. I know that's probably right in your wheelhouse. Well, not today. We're looking at waves around 1 to 2 feet, and the rip current risk is low. UV index is very high. Low 80s in Ocean City and Fenwick Island today. Watch for afternoon and evening storms, some with locally heavy downpours. Up towards Lewis and Rehoboth Beach, I think you'll also see storms, lower 80s here. On the bay side, even though you don't see any lightning bolts in Cambridge, I think we do have that chance of storms this afternoon with mid 80s, and the same for Crisfield as too. Then it dries out as we go into Friday and the weekend, looking much, much better at that time. I'll have more forecast details coming up in the next half hour.
After the break on Coast TV News today, push to close on ceasefire. We'll tell you what President Trump and world leaders are saying ahead of his meeting with Russian President Putin.
Also, Maryland conference attracts leaders. The events involving 2 senators in Ocean City this week.
And a new agency fights fraud. We'll tell you what office Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is set to establish today that aims to fight fraud and abuse of funds. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Oversight era starts. Governor Matt Meyer making Delaware's newest agency official later today, where it will focus fraud prevention efforts.
More warm and muggy weather for Delmarva today with scattered showers and thunderstorms, some with locally heavy downpours. A bit cooler and drier heading into the weekend. Forecast details coming up.
Town targets growth. We look at 2 proposed projects in Millville that, if approved, will bring in more housing.
OC, center of attention, with Maryland's U.S. senators set to attend later this week. What's on tap today at the State's Association of Counties Conference.
This is Coast TV News Today.
August 14th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we're about to hit 5:31 on this Thursday morning, and well, at least we had some clear skies on the way in today.
That is true. It is muggy outside, though.
You can feel it.
Bob did warn us that humidity was going to come back, but it is mid-August. We are prepared for this weather, even though we have been spoiled this month, Bob. It has been a beautiful August.
It has, but you know the heat and humidity was going to come back as we have plenty more summer to go, guys. We are looking at visibilities that are much better this morning. We had the widespread fog the last couple of mornings, not so this morning, but around Dover, farther to the north, that's where the fog is a little thicker, about 3/4 of a mile there, so take it slow. Temperatures beginning in the 70s again this morning, 74 in Georgetown and Millsboro. Bethany Beach waking up to 75 degrees, 74 in Seaford. It is muggy and there's really no breeze right now as we're looking at mostly clear skies with those areas of fog. And I think we're going to see, well, sunshine and humidity today. And there is a cold front back to our west, and that will be the trigger for showers and storms as we go into this afternoon. But this morning we're dealing with some of that fog, low cloudiness and temperatures in the 70s. Then it gets warm to hot with temperatures in the upper 80s, close to 90 this afternoon. Then we see these storms pop in. Some of them are going to be in business with locally heavy downpours, maybe some local flooding as we go into the mid to late afternoon hours. So keep that in mind. Ahead of the storm, feeling like mid to upper 90s. And your boardwalk forecast looking pretty good for the most part, 70s and then 80s. And then that chance of showers and storms. Keep an eye to the sky later this afternoon.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today, Delaware is getting a new government agency. Governor Matt Meyer is scheduled to sign legislation that establishes the Office of Inspector General. This agency will work to investigate and help prevent fraud and abuse of government money after attempts in previous session failed. This bill, Senate Bill 4, had bipartisan support in the General Assembly. The bill signing is set for 11:30 this morning in Wilmington at the Caravel State Office building.
We have a developing story in Laurel. Search continues for a stabbing suspect. Laurel police say a fight was reported around 7:30 last night near the Little Creek Apartments. This is the area that we're showing you right here on your screen. A man was found stabbed in the abdomen in the 500 block of Center Street. He was treated for non-life-threatening injuries, and according to police, this does not appear to be a random incident, and they urge anyone with information on that alleged stabbing suspect to contact them.
Happening today, Maryland is taking steps in the fight against overdoses. According to the Maryland Association of Counties, Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller will join Secretary Emily Keller for an overdose response training session. It takes place at the Ocean City Convention Center at 1 p.m. The event is a part of the Maryland Association of Counties Summer Conference that aims to address top issues facing the state.
And tomorrow, Maryland Senators Chris Van Hollen and Angela Alsobrooks are scheduled to attend the conference. According to both of their itineraries, the senators will speak at a fireside chat hosted by the Salisbury Area Chamber of Commerce and the Greater Ocean City Chamber of Commerce. The discussion will focus on boosting economic growth across the Eastern Shore, and that event takes place at 12:30 p.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn Oceanfront in Ocean City.
New overnight, the Trump administration has news ahead of a fentanyl prevention and awareness day. It's an annual effort on August 21st to spread the word about the drug's deadliness and naloxone's ability to reverse the overdoses.
Yeah, officials say this week the Mexican government transferred alleged cartel members to the U.S., and Amy Kiley shows us what might happen to them next.
Today marks a significant and long-awaited step towards justice.
26 alleged cartel members now face justice in the U.S. after Mexico extradited them. The Trump administration accuses them of having roles in drug trafficking and other crimes. The L.A. County Sheriff alleges one was involved in the killing of a deputy in 2008.
We have never forgotten our brother, Deputy Juan Abel Escalante.
Mexican officials say the extraditions weren't aimed at pleasing President Donald Trump. They argue the prisoners were continuing drug operations from behind bars.
The decision is for our country's safety. These are sovereign decisions.
Mexican officials say U.S. prosecutors won't seek the death penalty in the cases. Experts note that could avoid a violent response from the cartels.
These extraditions to the U.S. may alarm drug kingpins in Mexico because they are used to the corruption of the country's prisons.
Trump says the flow of fentanyl and other drugs across the southern border is a national emergency. That's one of his justifications for imposing tariffs on Mexican imports. But his even higher duties are on pause. His administration says that's because Mexican leaders are cooperating.
President Trump's directive on day one was make America safe again. And that is stopping the deadly flow of cocaine and other drugs coming into our country.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
A DelDOT comment period about proposed changes to a Sussex County intersection is ongoing. That intersection is one officials say has a history of crashes. Our Coast Copter flew over it yesterday. Gravel Hill, Sand Hill Roads in Milton. This is the site of a proposed roundabout. DelDOT says the project is designed to ease congestion and reduce crashes. DelDOT is taking public comments until September 19th on that potential roundabout.
We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. President Trump is setting expectations for his face-to-face summit with Russian President Putin on Friday and issuing a warning: be serious about ending the war or face consequences. The president discussed the sit-down after he held a virtual meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky and European leaders who say nothing can be decided without Ukraine's involvement. The president of France among the European and U.S. officials, noting that President Trump said he does not plan to discuss giving up Ukrainian territory to Putin without Ukraine in the room, something President Zelensky and European allies on the call were pushing for.
President Zelensky was on the call. I would rate it a 10, very, very friendly.
The Ukrainian president was not invited to the meeting with Putin at the U.S. military base in Alaska, but President Trump says he anticipates a second summit, including Zelensky.
And we have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, faster flight complaints. Will tell you how the Department of Transportation says its new service will help flyers speak up about experiences.
Also, lawsuit looks at Zelle. We'll tell you why New York is suing the money services parent company.
Also, Road to Championship, we preview the upcoming high school football season for Indian River as the Indians look to defend their state title. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
5:40 on this warm and muggy Thursday morning. Beautiful shot of the canal in Lewis on the Irish Ice Cam. Seeing some low clouds right now. Visibility pretty good, and we're looking at lower visibility around Dover, about a half mile or so, but better farther to the south. But do watch for areas of patchy fog this morning. Low to mid 70s out the door. It's muggy with light winds, and we have the fog. And once the fog burns off, we'll get into that steamy sunshine again. We've got some storms offshore right now, and back to our west we have a cold front, and that will trigger some showers and storms later today. Headed to the golf course. Oh, my putting is not good the last couple of days. It's in the fair category. Morning fog, afternoon storms, warm and humid. When thunder roars, go indoors. Remember that. And call the CoastTV First Alert weather phone. Your forecast just a call away. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico.
Cambridge police are promoting safe driving for the city through proactive traffic enforcement initiatives. Police say these came about because of increased complaints from the community. After observing violations for 2 days, there were a total of 35 traffic stops, which resulted in the following: 15 traffic citations and 48 traffic warnings. One person was arrested on a warrant.
Hey, let's go, skills, down back.
Jokingly, people say, hey, you're going to win it again. But you know, sometimes when people are joking, they really mean it. So, you know, when you're at the pizza shop or you're at the store and people make these comments, you're riding home from the store going, they want you to win another one. So there's pressure there for sure, but we can't let the pressure impact what we do.
It will be hard to top the IR football season from a year ago. Indian River went 12-1, winning by an average of 25 points and claiming their first state championship in over a decade. But that was all in 1A. The Indians find themselves in 2A this fall, and yet still feel ready for the challenge.
But as soon as we ended last year, we were all in the weight room together, you know, working out, and we were on the field getting plays in. That feeling of winning a state championship was nothing like it. So even though on these days, like where it's hot out, you know, remember the fun of it.
People look down on us a lot when we was in 1A. Saying we was trash because we were going against trash teams, but I don't think that's the case. I just think that we worked hard and we got something to prove. We have a chip on our shoulder this year, even though we won the championship.
4 of the Division II playoff teams last year came from the district we got placed in. So it's going to be a week by week. We got to show up and be ready to play. We can't have a down week.
Townsend and company are 2 weeks away from their 2A debut when they host Odessa on the 28th. Reporting from Dagsboro for DSN, I'm Ian Nicholas.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 7:30, it's a replay of the Maryland High School baseball playoff game between Snow Hill and Colonel Richardson. And then it's the final score at 10:30.
Movie and streaming news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
I know it's hard to believe, but I'm telling you, this game, it fills stadiums overseas. And it's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
The first teaser trailer is out for Marty Supreme, starring Timothée Chalamet as a young man with dreams of ping-pong greatness. The comic drama from director Josh Safdie is due in theaters December 25th.
I wouldn't want to have your job this week. You wouldn't want to have my job any week.
Landman is coming back. Paramount Plus has announced the West Texas oil drama will return for season 2 on November 16th. Billy Bob Thornton earned a Golden Globe nomination for his starring role in the hit series.
She's got everything delightful. She's got everything I need.
It's time for Deadheads to meet up at the movies again. The Grateful Dead movie is back for the band's 60th anniversary. This year, for the first time, some screenings will be in IMAX. The celebration begins today. Locations and tickets at meetupatthemovies.com. Still truckin' in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
Here's a live look into Ocean City on the Dry Tech Cam. Seeing some low clouds, some blue skies, and some fog, not as widespread as yesterday. We're looking at another warm and humid day with scattered storms this afternoon, maybe some locally heavy downpours. A bit drier, a bit cooler for Friday into a part of the weekend. I'll have your forecast details coming up next. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:47 and we are taking a live look outside at Rehoboth Beach this morning, and that is looking like the beginning of a beautiful view there. It looks like they're smoothing out that sand, Bob, getting ready for people to go onto the beach. Today's going to be another warm day at the beach.
Yeah, I love it when they rake the beach like that.
I
You get
know.
those different lines there, and everybody's getting ready for another beach day, Elisa. And it looks like a pretty decent beach day on the way. You'll want to keep an eye to the sky later today for that potential of thunderstorms, maybe with some locally heavy rain. So we could see some local flooding, but it's been so dry lately. I think the ground will be pretty receptive to the rain. And then Friday into a part of the weekend, we're going to turn drier, seasonably warm with mid-80s and then upper 80s on Sunday and a touch more humidity at that time. Out the door right now, Lewis 76, 75 in Bethany Beach, Ocean City 76, Georgetown and Millsboro 74, Salisbury 75, with dew points still in the low to mid 70s. That tropical air is still in place and really no winds to really give us any kind of relief. It's calm out there right now. So we've got some low clouds, some areas of fog, especially north around the Dover area. So if you're traveling north, keep that in mind. Otherwise, we're seeing some showers and storms offshore. Things are pretty quiet across the mid-Atlantic region right now. I am watching this cold front from western New York into the Ohio Valley. As it moves to the east, it's going to bump into some dynamics in the atmosphere and some heat and humidity, and that will trigger those storms as we go into this afternoon. Then behind the front, we do get some drier, slightly cooler air Friday into Saturday. Here's Futurecast beginning at 6 a.m. We've got the low clouds and fog. Temperatures in the 70s, still a little cloudy through mid-morning. That breaks up by noon and it gets warm. Mid to upper 80s inland areas, 70s at the coast, and then upper 80s this afternoon. And then mid-afternoon, watch for those showers and storms, and you start to see these orange and red colors showing up. That could be locally heavy rain, maybe blinding rain, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, that could cool us down a little bit, but it stays very muggy as the showers wind down this evening. And then overnight, we're looking at mainly clear skies, but we could be waking up to some dense fog again Friday morning, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, it does dry out a little bit, lower humidity, and then by the afternoon, low to mid 80s, inland areas, 70s at the coast, and looking pretty good as we head into Friday evening. And then Saturday morning on the mild side, and then a little drier Saturday afternoon with the flow off the ocean, lower 80s, inland 70s at the coast. We have a low or marginal chance of seeing excessive rain today, this afternoon. Once again, maybe some local flooding in poor drainage areas, otherwise shouldn't be too big of a deal as we're looking at very humid conditions and then slightly drier into the weekend and then much drier behind another front as we go into your Monday. Feels like temperatures today, mid to upper 90s away from the coast and still feeling like mid 90s in places tomorrow. Here's Tropical Storm Erin starting to get its act together a little more, moving to the west, moving into more of a favorable environment to develop. I think it will develop into a hurricane on Friday and then a major hurricane as it moves just north of the Lesser Antilles and then makes that turn to the north, but it's moving a little farther west now. So I think all these models have it tracking just off the east coast as we go into next week. That means bigger waves and also more of a rip current risk. So we'll have to watch this trend. If it continues to track farther to the west, it'll have more impacts on us next week. 86 in Laurel, 87 in Millsboro today. Watch for afternoon storms. 88 for Easton, and in Salisbury around 87, 85 in Ocean City. Paul, they have a 7-day forecast. We do dry it out a little bit Friday, 85, 83 on Saturday, mix of sun and clouds, and then warmer Sunday, 88 degrees. And then it cools down a little bit again by Monday with mid 80s and then low 80s Tuesday and Wednesday with a mix of sun and clouds.
Thank you, Bob. It was sentencing day for a former Salisbury University student in connection to a hate crime investigation. Court records show a judge gave Benin Aird 2 years behind bars after pleading guilty to assault. However, most of that sentence was suspended, so he faces just 85 active days. The 19-year-old is one of 15 former students accused of tricking and ambushing a man at an off-campus apartment. The victim believed he was meeting a 16-year-old for sex. A final suspect is scheduled for trial next Monday in Salisbury.
3 people are facing charges after a road rage assault last month. That's according to the Rehoboth Beach Police Department. Officers say a confrontation at the Rehoboth Avenue traffic circle on June 20th left a 62-year-old man with life-threatening injuries. He was flown to the hospital. Fortunately, he's since been released. Police identified the people in the other car, leading to the arrest of 50-year-old Robert Octavio, 21-year-old Santino White, and a 16-year-old juvenile, all from Newcastle. And they are all facing charges, including assault and conspiracy.
New York Attorney General Letitia James is suing the parent company of Zelle over massive amounts of fraud. The suit alleges that early warning services knew for years that certain features of the electronic money transfer service were susceptible to fraud. The company is accused of failing to implement safety measures which allowed scammers to steal over $1 billion.
The Department of Transportation has launched what it says is a faster, more secure system for air travel complaints. This new online system automatically notifies relevant parties of a complaint in real time. However, the department recommends people attempt to resolve their complaint directly with the airline or travel agency before filing a complaint.
The time is now 5:52, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pet of the day, trying to stay cool. We have a video here.
Wow.
All in the midst of this heat we've been experiencing. On your screen, that's Esmeralda, and as you can see, she's enjoying an ice-cold pup cup from Dairy Queen, while the air conditioning blows frigid air to seal the deal.
That's a nice life right there.
I know. What a life that dog has. And Esmeralda was submitted to us, as always, by Tammy in Millsboro.
Only the best for dogs. We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
Yep, there's that QR code, top center. Scan it, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 5:56, and here's a quick look at your forecast before you head out the door.
Yeah, we're heading to near 90s in many places today, Bob.
Yeah, I think we're right around there, and with the humidity feeling like mid to upper 90s. And then the clouds will roll in and that chance of storms this afternoon, some with heavy rain. But before we get there, we're looking at some areas of fog this morning, not as widespread as it has been. Then a mix of sun and clouds and temperatures mid to upper 80s, close to 90. And then you see by 3 p.m. that lightning bolt. We're going to see storms, and once again, maybe very heavy rain as we go into the evening hours. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. All that rain and storminess ends this evening. Otherwise, quiet overnight. Slightly drier on Friday, 85. Weekend looking good, especially Saturday. Partly cloudy, 83. A bit warmer on Sunday, 88. And then a cooling trend into next week. Low to mid 80s Monday through Wednesday. Lower 80s Thursday and Friday. A chance of storms on Saturday. And we'll be watching Erin off the coast. It's getting a little closer now, and it's definitely going to kick up the waves and the rip current risk, I think, later Wednesday into Friday. That'll be the impacts from that storm. We'll continue to watch it very carefully as we go through time.
All right, thanks, Bob. And coming up in our next hour, Senator's OC visit with Angela Alsobrooks and Chris Van Hollen, set to attend tomorrow. We look at the big topics getting reviewed today at the Maryland Association of Counties Conference. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News Today.